listening? Are you missing me like I'm missing you? This just can't be true. Did you have to leave so soon?
When Steve died, the outpouring of love across the country was amazing. We realized we were in a position that no racing family wants to be in. The good that was coming out of that was that these dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation is important to me. It keeps Steve present in what we all do and what we all love, and that's racing.
My favorite memory of Steve was just how nice of a guy he was and how genuine he was.
I'm just sure that Steve would be very honored and thankful for the foundation and how it's honoring his name and all the good that the foundation does.
You go to a racetrack on Saturday, nobody expects to come out of there hurt. Unfortunately, sometimes it does happen. And thankfully we got people like the King family and everybody that's involved with the Steve King Foundation to help these families.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and the Stephen King Foundation reached out to me and told me that they had a check. I was absolutely floored. I just thought that they did this for drivers or crew members that got injured. You know, racing, they always say racing's like a big family.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal. I mean, it's kind of inspired me to start my own foundation within racing.
They were such a caring family, and they wanted to help others, and being able to just be associated with them, to carry on his name, to help other racers and their families to survive in the sport that we love so much has just been a real honor for me.
The thing that gets lost in translation is, yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Coast to Coast Racing Network. We apologize for the technical difficulties.
Saved it.
Yes, you
Oh,
saved
okay, my
it.
bad.
You saved
Sorry, I
it.
apologize. I forgot we're live.
Nah, it was the technical difficulties that I was having. Anyway, GT3's around the corner, brought to you by Aspire Sim Racing. Marty Sakala with you. Glad you could join us here. We are at the Red Bull Ring. Let's break down this track here for you. 45-minute timed race, 10 turns the racetrack here. Most notable passing points here at this track. Turn number 1, Nicky Lauda corner. Then it's a long, fast uphill straight into the AMG corner, which is turn number 2 or turn 3, I believe it is, whichever one it is. But then you go down the back straight, which is in F1 a DRS zone. And it's also a fun track to be around. That's turn number 4, and that is also a really good passing point. That corner, the Rouch corner, and then it's a heaping set of corners into the Powerball left-hander. 5, 6, 7, 8. Turn 9, the right-hander is the Rin corner, and then the final turn number 10 to take you to the start-finish line. A very easy track, Isaac. Many passing points in this race.
Oh, it's a blast, to be honest with you. I spent about half hour last night just to kind of learn it. That way I don't look so bad this week. And yeah, man, I actually I actually had a blast the entire time. I was like, man, this is actually a really fun track to race on. So I think it's going to put on some really good racing.
A lot of drivers this evening have decided when it comes to the manufacturer count, they are choosing either a Porsche or a Lamborghini. So this could be very interesting to see what goes on. Not a lot of Ferraris being selected here tonight.
No, I even I got talked into running a Porsche, which I don't know how that happened, but here I am in a Porsche, and I'm going to try to make the most of it.
So qualifying just getting set to wrap up here, and let's show you the times as things stand here at the moment. It's Dan McLaren that is currently the quickest. His best time so far, a 1:37.4. In second is Brandon Combs in the 2:28, a 1:30.76. So Dan McLaren's won a race this season, but Brandon Combs could have a great opportunity here.
Yeah, and you know, he's done pretty well these last few weeks, and you know, I mean, it's always hard to beat Dan. You know, I guess I'm a little partial just because that's my man, but yeah. So I think it's gonna be a nice little challenge. They're only separated by less than 30 thousandths,
Yeah,
so
it's crazy.
that's insane on a road course.
Well, we're about to see what goes down here. Final laps of qualifying. There you see Barney's waving the checkers. Across the line is Brandon Combs. A slower lap, seeing the other drivers on your screen. Let's go to Tyler Benefield, third quickest at a 1:31.48. There is his, that's his Audi paint scheme, but he catches the gravel. Around he goes. Trying to avoid the tires. Ooh, just clipped them. So that won't work out. Dan McLaren, maybe one more better lap. He had a better sector 2 in his Mercedes AMG. Two more right-handers to go, and that'll do it for his lap. Got to be careful about that being an off-track spot. Same with the exit of turn number 10. Quickest of everyone in sector number 3. Does a 1:30.74, so off by a couple hundredths there. Brandon Ishkanian wrapping up a lap here, but will likely be a, oh, he caught the wall. So that won't work out. Here comes Brandon Combs. His lap won't count either. And so it will be Dan McLaren starting from pole position this evening. So Combs brings it into the pit lane. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go racing. Alrighty, let's meet the field here for this 45-minute feature. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your catalytic recovery starting lineup. On the front row, it's Dan McLaren in the Mercedes and number 88 next to Brandon Combs in the Audi 228. Row number 2, Tyler Benefield in the Audi 224 next to Jeff Barker, the Virgin Beast, who's in the Porsche 513. Row 3, G.J. Boydell in the Mercedes number 014 next to Slide Job, Isaac Salas in the Porsche 5. Row number 4, the Ripper, Lance Ripka in the Mercedes 125. Brandon Templeton, the highest Ferrari, he starts in 8th. Row number 5, Bobby Good in car number 7, the Porsche next to the lone BMW, driven by Brandon Ishkanian. Row number 6 is Cody Graham and Colin Johnson. They are a pair of Lamborghinis. Rounding out the field, Joe Musso in car number 63. Jacob Musso not with us tonight, who normally drives the number 61. So that's a look at your starting lineup as we get set to go racing. Got a pick to win it here, Isaac?
No, I'm Dan.
I had a feeling it was going to be Dan. Looking at your chat messages here from tonight, Butterfield already signed up for the Knoxville Nationals, so he's set to go racing.
Really?
Yep, he's rooting for Venom. Patrick Spangler.
I didn't know he was going to run Knoxville.
Yeah. Spangler called the victory, and Renegades need another training wheels victory riding on Wilson tonight. I was happy to see that happen. A shorter pace lap. The drivers are in turns number 9 and 10. Isaac, best of luck, man. We'll watch you throughout the night.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Review on Isaac. We'll bring him back in if he DNFs for the night. But the Steve King Foundation pace car is in, and we're set to go racing. Drivers make their way through turns number 9 and 10. And it's Dan McLaren and Brandon Combs that bring the field to green. McLaren's last win came a couple weeks ago at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Kenny won in Austria. We're about to find out. It is go, go, go here at the Red Bull Ring. Down into turn number 1, McLaren comes away with a slight advantage. Combs right behind him. They were side by side for third. Benefield has it. G.J. Boydell and Jeff Barker now go past Nicky Lauda corner and approach the AMG straight. See how this works out for them. Who outdrives into turn number 3? Barker with a preferred line over, drives in, nearly goes off the track. G.J. Boydell was low, but he loses the position to Salas because he was way too conservative in that AMG corner. Now they go down the back straight, entering the Rouch corner. And it's still the 88 of McLaren with the advantage over Brandon Combs and the Audi. Your best race on track, still Boydell, followed by Salas and Ripka. Boydell was able to take away 5th thanks to the draft. Bob DeGood has crashed it. He is back in the 10th position. Lance Ripka looks to close in that Mercedes-Benz AMG. Past Powerball. And into turn 7, 8. Now approaching the ring corner and turn number 9. This right-hander. Boydell looks for an opportunity. Not a good passing zone there on Jeff Barker. So he stays patient and conservative. Riding through turn 10. Not the best exit for the Canadian. See if he can get a draft off of Jeff Barker. Lap number 1, though, led by the 88 of Dan McLaren. Through Lauda corner, Brandon Combs looks for the draft. Off of Dan McLaren, and it's working well for him. The Audi shifts up to 5th gear. Brings it down, he outbrakes McLaren into AMSAG. The first hairpin of this racetrack, and he is all over that rear wing. All about the corner speed here as we bring up the track map for the first time tonight. Combs looks for a run, it doesn't work. Meanwhile, Boydell underneath Salas, both of them go around and Rouch corner. Merges back into traffic just in front of Brandon Ishkanian, and one of the road course favorites to watch out for a podium this evening falls down into 13th. Here's the Malcolm's replay to give you a better idea on what happened. Boydell with a slingshot underneath, and it looked like he had it, but a way too shallow entry. It looked like there was some tire smoke barely entering that right-hand corner. It's right on board with GJ. It's way too shallow and catches the left rear. So Salas, Cody Graham, and Joe Musso make their way in the pits. I think we had something else happen, and we did. Cody Graham, Brandon Ishkanian, and you see there is heavy front end damage off the Lamborghini of Cody. Meanwhile, Dan McLaren just set the quickest lap of the race, 1:31.46. Let's get a look at what happened. This was on that same lap as well. This is in the Powerball section. Oh, and it happened in front of them with the BMW of Ishkanian, and they wadded them up before I think that was in turn number 8, which it was. Let's see what an aerial shot can give us here. Watch Ishkanian. That's the BMW and the number 19. Oh, he wheel hopped it. Was on the brakes and trying to steer at the same time, and the track is blocked. Well, that could have warranted a safety car, but obviously it's road racing, so no yellows will take place here. So that puts Cody back in the 9th spot. GJ luckily able to pass all those drivers and puts the Cheetos Mercedes ride in the 8th position. But it's Dan McLaren that had a great lap last time by, and he's pulled out to a 4-second advantage on Tyler Benefield. There's Barker 1.2 ticks behind in the 3rd spot. Best race on track, that's the race for 4th. Lance Ripka against Brandon Combs as they draft down into turn 2, approaching the AMS corner. Ripka, Combs, Templeton all just trying to work together to see what they can do. That right-hander, man, Combs getting really risky with the driver of the 125, and there's the run for Combs, makes that pass look easy. Brandon Combs moves up to the 4th position. Barker now starts to lose some time to Benefield, but Brandon Combs, who started in 2nd, faded back to 4th after a tough start. Just looking to regain ground. Another fast time for Dan McLaren that last lap. About a 1:31.25 across the start-finish line. Fantastic lap. See that lap come up in purple. Any lap that's purple, that's the best lap of the race that just happened. Any lap in green, that's the driver's best lap of the day. Benefield and Barker, the best race on track for 2nd. Let's compare the sectors here for the folks at home. Show you how quicker Barker's closing in. See Benefield that last time by, just a bit slower. On board down the back straight, the Porsche takes us into Rouch corner. Downshifts into the 2nd gear. Sector 2 crossing coming in just a moment. Should be just around here. You see that red dot? They're about to approach it now. Barker, the best sector he has had today. 39 seconds. Benefield just looks a lot better on corner exit. Check here across the start-finish line. A much better lap for Jeff Barker that time. Closes the gap down to just about 0.8 of a second. New fastest lap of the day. How about the Audi? Brandon Combs, and he goes around in Lauda corner. After setting the first 1:30 lap of the day, Brandon Combs loses it and he goes down to 7th. That's a shame. Pretty much a simple wheel hop in the corner. And he falls back into the 7th spot. So McLaren has increased the lead to 6.2 seconds while we were at it. Looking at how some of the drivers have done after the issues that they've had, GJ Boydell has made his way back up into the 8th position. We know Combs is in 7th. Cody Graham 9th, Brandon Ishkanian 10th, Isaac Salas in 11th, Joe Musso 12th. Cullen Johnson, the biggest loser in that big wreck that broke out near the Power Bowl section. He is in the last spot. On board for a lap here with your leader in Dan McLaren. Those rumble strips here as well, those curbs, that's your best friend here. Down that back straight. Here's the Power Bowl section. Why we call it the Power Bowl? You'll see somewhere in that stand area on the left a mascot of the Red Bull. Just had a driver go off track, Joe Musso, for a couple seconds. One of two Ferraris in the field. He's stuck in the 12th spot. Back on board here with Soupy. See that warning that says his oil pressure is low? Don't worry about that tonight because he knows what, he can see that as a driver. We can't see his tachometer stats with the exception of his lap time, his gear, and the speed he's going if it does pop up. We can't see anything else like his ABS, his traction control, none of that. Gap is an 8-second advantage. Let's go back to that race for second that we've been watching between Benefield and Barker. Barker has just been quietly approaching the Audi. Let's watch what happens approaching the hairpin. Look at that entry for Jeff Barker. Up on that back end. Barker slipped a little bit, exiting that hairpin. Was 0.2 better out of sector 1. See what goes down here in the Powerball section. There it is, that mascot that we just went by. This is your best race on the track for P2. See if we can make that battle box as well a lot better in the production truck. Oh, and there goes Benefield, he loses it. Same thing that Brandon Combs did. And we had some more issues as well take place. Also had something break out with the guy behind him in Brandon Templeton. Take a look briefly and show you what happened to the Ferrari. And that was approaching the back straight. Wheel hopped. Saw that machine caught a little bit of air as he was trying to accelerate, just spun the tires. So. But over 13 minutes into this race, Dan McLaren with a 10-second lead on Jeff Barker, followed by Lance Ripka, Bob DeGood, and Brandon Combs. We're going to step aside and take our first side-by-side break. Stay with us at the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on G-Force TV.
For Lucy Olson, she has her first point. Yeah, Lucy Olson, talented sophomore.
Into this one here at the Red Bull Ring. Dan McLaren currently leads by 12 seconds on Jeff Barker, Lance Ripka, Brandon Combs, Bobby Goodwin out the top 5. We've got a race for second brewing between Barker and Ripka. Cody Graham has just crashed it. That is in the Rouch corner. There's been a lot of issues there today as well. Back to the race for P2. Jeff Barker, Lance Ripka. This is a good one that's shaping up. Safe in that hairpin, out of the back straight, come to the Powerball zone. Right on board is Ripka. Now they're entering the Rouch corner. I apologize. They were in the AMS corner. There's one off the track. I think that's Ishkadian. It is the BMW. Couple of things we should look at while this battle is starting to develop. First off, Tyler Benefield crashed while we were under brake. Here's a look at what happened to him. Same spot he crashed in. He spun out when he was running in the second position. Does have the fastest lap of this race. I'm sorry, that was Brandon Combs I was thinking of. Racing for a position. Then this is Cody Graham. What happened to him in, I believe, the AMS corner. Just locked him up without any smoke. Just a simple off track. Now we go back to this race for second, and Ripka's actually taken away the second spot from Jeff Barker. Here is how it has looked in these last 10 laps or so, how much that gap is closed in. It's a good idea if you're wondering at home. As they are down the back straight. A lot of cars down this back straight at the moment. Here's another look at how Ripka got that pass made. It's down the front straight, a much better exit off of turn 10. And used it to his advantage. Ripka started from 7th position, and the Ripper's up to P2. Don't forget as well, pit stops around the corner. 5 drivers have already made pit stops today. Cody Graham is a part of it. Also, Brandon Ishkanian, Isaac Salas, Joe Musso, Colin Johnson have pitted. And we see our first round of pit stops here. G.J. Boydell brings the 014 into the pit lane. Pop this up on your screen to those of you that are watching at home. And I would assume this is a fuel-only stop. Make sure he can get it to the end. He went just about 23.5 minutes. And so he has decided to split this in half. Just top her off on fuel. We'll see how long this pit stop is. 15.5 seconds and away for the Cheetos Mercedes ride. Colin Johnston just crashed about 20 seconds ago. Currently scored in last in the Lamborghini. And here's a look at what happened to him. In the Power Bowl section of the racetrack, I believe this is. Yes, it is. And he lost it. Just trying to brake when steering. That's a corner I would probably let off if I were in the Team Watson ride. So he keeps it going. Second place driver Lance Ripka comes into the pit lane. Bob DeGood also makes the stop on in. You'll see him in the background in that yellow car. So Barker takes the second spot back, and that's where we rely on the pit map very closely when the drivers will come back out. So again, both of them decide to split it in half. You see Brandon Templeton, the 31, also on the pit lane. And Bob DeGood out in 17 seconds. I think Ripka got a penalty for possibly speeding on pit entry. The speed limit here, just looking to make sure I got everything correct, is 50 miles an hour. As Templeton's already out in the Razor ride, and Ripka now just coming out. And remember, the GT3s have pit road speed limiters. And so from the looks of that, Ripka had a speeding penalty, and he is back down into the 8th position. Should probably cycle him just in the 5th spot. Brandon Combs now brings his Audi into the pit lane. So Combs in pit box number 2. Tyler Benefield also brings his Audi in. And his stop, a long one over 20 seconds to fill the tank up to full. Now let's watch the 224 of Benefield as he is in the pits. Should probably expect Dan McLaren to come in this time. And yes, we are correct. There you see McLaren just pop up on the pit lane banner. Benefield out in 21.5 seconds. And now this will be interesting to see the merge out here. Him and Brandon Combs. Should expect this stuff to be over 20 seconds too. McLaren goes 13 seconds, so. And he'll merge out 57 seconds in front of Jeff Barker, who is the only driver yet to pit, and he is 11.5 seconds in front of the leader in Soupy Dan. What a speed shot exiting the Rouch corner. That's pretty cool. So into turn 9, Barker expected to come in this time by. Well, he does. So final driver to make a stop here, but remember, Cody Graham, Brandon Ishkanian, Isaac Salas, Joe Musso, Colin Johnston pitted on lap 2 after an accident that they were involved in. So we should expect them to make a stop in just a little bit. Barker goes 15-10, and obviously McLaren takes the lead back. The gap goes up to at least 20 seconds. We do have a race developing for 10th entering Rouch Corner. That's this race here. Brandon Ishkanian and Isaac Salas. Here's the time delta in the last couple of laps. Look how much that's gone down. Let's take a ride on board here with Salas as he tries to close his way in on the 2. You see what he's seeing in the bottom right? Top left is Ishkanian. There you see Salas trying to chase down Brandon. Oh, Brandon went around! And Salas dodges the bullet. I think he wheel hopped in turn number 10. Let's take it right on board with Brandon. Give you a better idea. I think he hit that yellow curve, that yellow turtle. And that is most likely what sent the BMW around and down to the 11th position. So Brandon's been in the back all night long. Not the race that he has really wanted. So Sala scored in the 10th spot. And let's take a ride on board with them inside the race car, and we will actually show you what he is looking at. He is inside that race car. Turns 1 and 2. Next guy he has is Cody Graham, who was 16 seconds behind him. Behind him, that is the leader in McLaren. You can see he's got the blue flag on the top left of your screen. That's the indicator that there is a faster car behind you. Put you at least a lap down. Something I like as well on these LED indicators, not the gear shifter, but you see that purple light just show up on the left? That shows you that the traction control and the ABS are working together to prevent his car from spinning out. That's pretty much a lap with Isaac here at this racetrack. We've got a race for second breaking now. Actually, that race has already ended. Brandon Combs is taking away the second spot from Jeff Barker. Remember, Barker has 2 laps. Combs took a lot more fuel than Barker did. So Barker's got less weight in the car, so I want to see how this happened. Here's a brief look. Just out of turn 1, a better exit for Combs. Nope, that was out of turn 3 rather. Cody Graham off track the number 2. Was off track for a second, so we just cut through a chicane. I tell you this, the most off tracks of the day, I hate to tell you this, but it's Isaac. Tied for second between McLaren and Benefield. Johnston 11. You know, there's a rule set in the iRacing user interface that we can show you. Turn 1, the edge of the red-white curbing, you got to be careful as the curbing may upset the car and could consider it as an off track if over half it like that be off the track. In turn 2, edge of the red-white curbing are off track limits, and the same goes for turn 5. Turn 7, 8, and 9. Very easy to go off track here. So, 9 minutes left to go here with Dan McLaren, the leader. Step aside if something happens, if trouble breaks out, we'll try and break it as quick as we can. Stay with us.
Are you listening? Are you missing me like I'm missing you? This just can't be true. Did you have to leave so soon?
When Steve died, the outpouring of love across the country was amazing. We realized we were in a position that no racing family wants to be in. The good that was coming out of that was that these dollars had come together to support us. And we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation is important to me. It keeps Steve present in what we all do and what we all love, and that's racing.
My favorite memory of Steve was just how nice of a guy he was and how genuine he was.
I'm just sure that Steve would be very honored and thankful for the foundation and how it's honoring his name and all the good that the foundation does.
You go to a racetrack on Saturday, nobody expects to come out of there hurt. Unfortunately, sometimes it does happen. And thankfully, we got people like the King family and everybody that's involved with the Steve King Foundation to help these families.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and the Stephen King Foundation reached out to me and told me that they had a check. I was absolutely floored. I just thought that they did this for drivers or crew members that got injured. You know, racing, they always say racing's like a big family.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal. I mean, it's kind of inspired me to start my own foundation within racing.
They were such a caring family, and they wanted to help others, and being able to just be associated with them, to carry on his name, to help other racers and their families to survive in a sport that we love so much, has just been a real honor for me.
The thing that gets lost in translation is, yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Knoxville Raceway, they're lean, they're mean, they're 700 horses of man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. Here come the Cool Ray Coast to Coast Racing League sprint cars and the Mike Westbrook Memorial for the Knoxville National. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Green, Spangler, green flag, showtime. Join us for the 4th annual Mike Westbrook Memorial Knoxville Nationals for the Steve King Foundation. July 31st to August 3rd. 4 days of open 360 Knoxville action using the Knoxville National scoring system. $200 in payouts as well as loads of door prizes. $10 early bird entry by midnight Sunday, July 17th, then $15 for Coast to Coast members and $20 for non-Coast to Coast members. Max I rating has to be 3,000. All entries open to the first 100 drivers. 100% of registration fees go directly to the Steve King Foundation. All races will be broadcast on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. For more info, go to C2CRL.com. It's showtime! We are back here taking you to the finish as we got 4 minutes remaining here at the Red Bull Ring. G.J. Boydell has been making a good comeback in the 5th position for the first caution, for the first spin of the day. Racing Bob DeGood for the 4th spot. And then this happened. Hit that yellow sausage curb and freaked the car out. Around he went out of the AMS corner. So he's 15.9 seconds behind. Still in the 5th position. Your biggest mover of the day, give credit to the Porsche. of Bob DeGood. Started in the 9th spot, running in 4th. So Bob's having a good race, and he is actually starting to close in on Jeff Barker for 3rd. Let's take a look at the lap times here and compare them. From DeGood to Barker, DeGood's been slower in the last 5 laps. Bob is starting to catch him in that Porsche. This is way out of turn number 10. Drivers running 92nd lap times here. We'll have to see as well for Dan McLaren. If this will be the white flag lap coming up, this is going to be close. If he hits 43.30, we'll see the white flag this time by before he crosses the start-finish line. So, coming on in though this evening, Jeff Barker, your points leader over G.J. Boydell. 369 to 316. Bob, you got 100 points behind in 3rd. Pierre Thompson 4th. Joe Musso 5th. Dan McLaren the most wins, or tied for the most wins this season with 2. He come out without a spin. Have the most on the season. So this will be close to see if we get the white flag this time by. Right on board, see if that white flag comes out on the inside. Is this the final lap? Nope, that was 2 laps to go. I believe it was. We'll have to see what happens. Back to what's happening. DeGood's lost a lot of time to Jeff Barker. It's now 2.2 seconds. The delta. Here's how it's looked in these last 10 laps or so. It's been very close. You get a better idea when that pit lap goes out. But Dan McLaren making his way through the Power Bowl section. See if he sees the checkered flag this time by for win number 3 on the year. Coming into turn number 9 and then 10. This will be tight if we get one more lap in this race. I think he's going to get one more lap at it, and he will. It was 40. Oh, nope. Yep, he gets one more lap at it. He just saw the white flag that last time by. He came across the start-finish line at 44.59. Another pleasant drive from the Venom Racing number 88 ride. Out of the AMS corner for the final time. Approaching a Lamborghini, and I believe that is Colin Johnston. It is number 13. Now in the stadium section for the final time, the Venom Racing Machine out of the Canada area. An incredible road racer. Approaching turns number 9 and 10. Final trip around the Red Bull Ring. You'll see the checkered flag this time by, and it will be win number 3 of the season for him. He's led every lap here. It's lap number 30. A driver spins in front. That's Colin Johnston. Dan McLaren sees the checkered flag. Win number 3. He wins at the Red Bull Ring. Another spectacular drive for Soupy and Dan McLaren. Brandon Combs approaches turns number 9 and 10. A great drive for the driver of the 228 Audi. In his first start in GT3 competition, it's a podium finish. A great run for him. The points leader comes off at turn number 10 to finish third. He extends the points lead. Bob D got a second back and forth. GJ Boydell comes through 9 and 10. A great recovery after the spin to finish in the 5th position. Lance Ripka with a nice 6th place run. Here comes Brandon Templeton out of turn 10. He scores a 7th place finish. Tyler Benefield, a tough break, ran near the front to begin the race. He finishes 8th. Last car on the lead lap is Cody Graham in car number 2 in the hatch straight, in the hatch corner. That's a 9th place run for him, but Dan McLaren is your winner this evening. Army here in Austria. So we'll talk with him in just a matter of moments. We have your official results loaded up for you, and take a look at them. McLaren the winner, Combs 2nd, Barker 3rd, DeGood 4th, Boydell 5th, Ripka 6th, Templeton 7th, Benefield 8th, Graham 9th, Salas 10th, Ishkanian 11th, Johnston 12th, and Musso in 13th.